Hey Krishna, it's Krishnendu Das here, and I'm finally the right way up. I went live and I was like this. So this time we are here to talk about the Mayapur, the Mayapur Success Formula Lab, which is a program that I've been working on for years, and very soon to be launching it. So today I'm going to be just talking a bit about the background, why we decided it was worth something that was needed, and basically what it involves. And then you'll see there's a link in the description to this Facebook Live which tells you how you can be notified when it actually launches. So let me just set up my my camera so that I don't have to look at it all the time, and then we'll go ahead. Alright, so I've got my little home office thing going on here with my lights and everything. So I hope that, oops, excuse me. I hope that it'll be easy to see and understand what's going on. Alright. So, there we go. Awesome. Alright, so as you may know, I did a survey recently. Just a second. I want to just follow along here with what's happening, so I'm just going to refresh my page. Excuse all the warming up, but once we get into action, it should be good. I just want to see if there's any comments, and so I'm just checking that my page is already. Alright, so bear with me, I will be there shortly. Okay, so we have to click on this, I believe. Here we go. Right, so yeah, Janmashtami is coming up soon, and Srila Prabhupada's appearance day. And I really felt the urge, the feeling that I've wasted so much time all these years, that now's the time to actually take the courage to release the Mayapur Success Formula, and invite devotees to join me and help me to develop it. So let's just talk a little bit about it. Great, I can see the feed there. So if there's any comments, I'll be able to reply to them. Right. Okay, so recently I did a survey, and also a few years back I did a survey, and out of that survey there was a few key things that came out that were the main issues that devotees are facing. So one of them is the top of the line, I would say, was sadhana. So particularly japa, and just going to check to see that my writing's not back to front. Oh, perfect. That's the right way around. As it looks back to front to me. So the first thing is sadhana. Devotees were saying that they're finding it really hard just to complete their rounds. You know, what to speak of chanting with attention. To do 16 rounds a day is very difficult. In the modern life that we have, things are very busy, and there's so many other competing attractions that make it hard to do our sadhana, like a japa, reading. So I may as well just add it here as well. Specifically, japa was the main one. As we know, that's basically our Yuga Dharmas, chanting Hare Krishna. And then the other thing, was reading Prabhupada's books. And also you could include in this category, I guess, the challenge of the regulative principles. So, slightly different topic, but I'll just include it here. Regulative principles. I guess I could have put 4 eggs, that would have been easier, right? Anyway, so this is one category of, big challenge that devotees are facing, is this. And I'll get back more about why it might be, and so on as we go on. But the other thing which was a big issue, and particularly when I did the survey this time, interesting thing when you do a survey is that all responses are not equal. Like there was many people that just put japa, chanting 16 rounds, very short answers. But when somebody takes a long time to write a whole paragraph about something, it shows that they have a much deeper concern, you could say, about it. And the one thing which came through to me in that survey, which was the one that people wrote the most about, was, we can call it relationships. And not just about like husband and wife or parents and children, but specifically community. That devotees were finding a lot of challenges with community. When they went to the temple, they found that there was politics, or that devotees were not getting on well with each other and not treating each other very well. So that may not be the case in every temple. Naturally, not every devotee is like that. But it was something that came out of the survey as a very common problem, and therefore, something that it needs to be addressed. So that was the second one. Then the third one was basically money and career. Money, mostly meaning lack of money. And this is definitely a big one. They say that the biggest cause of relationship issues is financial arguments, when there's different values or lack of money and there's that financial pressure. Now trust me, I've experienced it myself, and it can be very, very stressful. Puts a big strain on the relationship. So just to recap for a minute, if you haven't heard my story, I grew up going to schools that cost a lot of money. They were considered like the best in my city, and I never really had any problems with money. My parents had plenty of money, and I even had a big amount of savings put aside for me when I was younger that I always knew I could depend on. I could go back there if I wanted to buy a house. I'd be able to get a deposit with that money or whatever. And so I always had that feeling. I never made decisions based on money. I just did what I liked or what I was inspired to do. So I was basically, going through the long story, I was teaching at the Hare Krishna school. So here I was. I had a salaried job. I was getting savings. And I was doing something I really loved. It was connected with Krishna. And it was fantastic. Plus, I had this money, which was, waiting there for me if ever I needed it. So this was a situation I thought, this is fantastic. I'm going to just stay like this forever. I'll be in the school. I'll, be a teacher. And why would anything ever have to change? Sometimes in the material world, things change. And Krishna arranges things to teach a lesson. So for me, what happened was basically, it became too much for me to handle teaching for various reasons. The main one being, the main reason being that when I first went to the school, it was small. And I was doing all kinds of stuff. I was accounting, driving the bus, installing the computers, as well as teaching, and so many other things. And I really enjoyed that variety and that creative environment, and also sort of having a say, being involved in creating something. As the school grew, because of the marketing that we did, as a teacher, that I was employed as a teacher, I had to focus on that one thing only. And therefore I became disconnected from a lot of the other things I was doing and just lost inspiration. There's a few other factors as well, like in terms of dealing with the children's behaviour, and like I enjoyed preparing plans and lessons, but having to just go every day and just kind of like do the plan wasn't so inspiring for me. So for various reasons, I left the school. I thought, okay, I'll leave the school. It was a little bit stressful going through that transition, but I thought, okay, I'll try something else. So then I started looking into all these different investments, and my attention drifted away from the Krishna conscious focus that I'd had before. Like at the school, although I was being paid to do what I was doing there, my whole focus was, okay, well, money's taken care of. How can I do the best to make this school the best it can be and teach the children the best that I can? And now when I left the school, my focus really shifted more towards, how can I get money any which way? And so I tried some really stupid investments and lost a lot of money. I invested in so many courses without implementing a lot of them. And it got to a situation where the financial situation was really quite stressful. In fact, there's one particular incident which I can remember, which is the reason that I'm sort of sharing my story right now about this pressure it puts on a relationship. There was one particular evening where I was discussing with my wife Nikunja about our finances, and we were fighting basically. It was very intense. And my son, who I don't know how old he would have been then, it was a few years ago, he heard us fighting. It's never nice to fight in front of the children. And although we were in another room, he could hear what was happening. And he came out and he said, "Do you not have enough money? I can give you some money. I've got some money in my piggy bank." And it was just the most heart-pulling experience, to hear a little child say, "Oh, I'll help. I've got some coins in my piggy bank." It was just really hurt. So it made me realize how important it is for devotees to have that financial part of life taken care of. Otherwise, it is such a big stress. And on many occasions I've experienced where the financial pressure has caused a lot of stress. Now, I've also had some interesting experiences that when there have been tight financial situations, I remember around about the same time that happened with my son, I just thought to myself, look, I've spent all this time trying to make money and not been very successful doing that. And I've just neglected my real mission, which was I've always wanted to preach and spread Krishna consciousness. So I thought, okay, whether I have money or not, I'm just going to try to do something. So I organised a program in a local hall and we preached there. And the incredible thing was that within a very short time, almost I think it was the very next week, I came into a whole lot of money that I never expected. That was like completely a complete surprise. And although you might say it's a coincidence, for me it wasn't a coincidence. For me, it was a message from Krishna that don't put your focus on getting money. If you serve me and you do your duty according to your nature in my service, I'll look after you. So that's one situation, and it's happened to me several times. Even quite recently, there was a situation where I had some big bills coming up, and I literally did not know where the money would come from. And so it was at that time I decided that I was going to launch this program, and that through this program I could get some funds, because if I sell this course, devotees can give me money, and then that way I'll be able to pay my bills. So what actually happened was, I thought, right, I'm going to really focus. I'm going to prepare the course to launch. So of course it didn't actually launch at that time when I thought of it, but the intention was very strongly there. And as I was preparing for this, again, some money came to me that I wasn't expecting. It was like some money that someone owed me that I was expecting it was going to be coming after a long, long time, after months, but it actually appeared that very same week, practically just a few days after I made that decision to serve Krishna. So particularly right now, it emphasized to me that Krishna wants me to do this service of helping devotees with these challenging issues. And look, to be honest, as I've shared with you my story, I have faced challenges with these things myself, and I still do. And I think that part of being in the material world is that there's always a challenge dealing with these things. And so I wanted to make it really clear that what I'm trying to do with these programs that I'm about to share with you is not that I'm the big guru and I'm fully self-realized and therefore I'm going to tell everybody the way it should be done. It's not that at all. Actually, a big part of why I want to help devotees with these things is because they're things that I am working on. And by creating an environment where devotees can work together to support each other, it's going to help me as well as the other devotees to help us make progress in these matters. So I wanted to make that really clear that I'm doing this for myself in many ways, but at the same time I'm doing it in a way that is a win-win-win. It's a way that I can advance in my spiritual life and at the same time help devotees to advance. So a final point that I wanted to add here, which a few devotees mentioned, that they had some dream or some vision to take some initiative to preach. I'll put it as preach here. To preach or to do some service which helps the devotees. So I'll add it as a separate thing, but it's preach or a project. So preaching, I think of it mostly as going out to people who are not already devotees, and these projects that I'm talking about, are mostly for serving devotees. Devotees. Right, so you can see that there's 4 basic categories here that have been a challenge that devotees are facing. So I'll just open up the computer again. Now, this is actually quite late here for me. It's about 10 o'clock at night, so that's not surprising. There may not be that many devotees here on live, but I really, as I mentioned, wanted to launch this thing before Janmashtami. And so even though it's late, I made a commitment to myself that sometime today I'm going to share with devotees what this program's all about. So these are 4 of the big areas that our program is looking at. And to sort of summarize it in a little phrase, one of the things is make money doing what you love. I'll touch on the doing what you love part in a minute. Make money doing what you love. Together, the community, for Krishna. And that's where the sadhana and the preaching comes in. So let me just explain the gist of that phrase. I'm not sure if I've got room to write it somewhere, so I'll just leave it there. The basic idea is each of us has got inspiration and strengths and weaknesses and talents. So what we want to do in our life is we want to do the things that we have energy for, that we can really focus on, that we're inspired to give our full energy, our full focus, our full commitment to. When we do that, then we have a much greater chance of being successful in whatever it is that we're doing. Like, in particular, we're talking about a career here. If you have a job or you're in a career and you don't really like doing it, it's going to be painful to be successful in that thing, and it's also going to be a struggle, and you'll probably never really be successful at it. The people who are successful at things in life, they say it's not so much talent, but it's the ones that put in the hours. So how will you put in the hours for something that you hate? The only way that you can do that is you find something you're inspired by, and then you really can put your heart into it. That allows you to be successful. And this is another reason why I've basically put aside all of my other business ideas that I've previously worked on, because although I could see that there was potential and other people had made a lot of money doing them, for me I didn't have that same inspiration as this particular project, where I feel that I've got a unique contribution to make that maybe others don't. That's not to say that everyone should do exactly what I'm doing. There's plenty of room for devotees to help teach devotees in so many of these areas, for sure. But everyone's dharma is different. Someone's dharma might be, I just love business. I'm going to go and sell so many things, make so much money. With that money, then you can serve. Just like I'm thinking Gopal Bhatta Prabhu in America. He's a very successful businessman, and the skills that he learned through his business about marketing and business and organization, he's using it to train devotees. And he's also using his money to, support projects in our movement. So he's a really great example. Here in Auckland, there's a devotee, Nimananda, who has a very successful dairy products business. And again, he uses that money to support, Krishna conscious projects. So everyone's got a different nature. I'm not saying that everybody should, just completely not do business if it's kind of like not connected with Krishna. But we have to see, according to our own nature, what's the best contribution that we can make and how we can connect it with Krishna. Just like some devotees that have a business where they're employing devotees. That's a whole other discussion that I can share another time, which is about the leverage pyramid, or the hierarchy of leverage, which I can talk another time. But anyway, these are the main ideas, that if we have a real inspiration about what we do, we'll be more inspired, we'll have more energy. And then when we're living in a space where we're doing things that we like and we're happy about, it makes it so much easier to do our sadhana. When we are happy in our situation, it's so much easier to relate to others in a positive way. And it also puts us in a position, it's again relationships, where we can positively share about Krishna consciousness to others. So these are the big areas that we found, and one of the things that occurred to me was that a lot of devotees' lives are very disconnected, in the sense that they're doing something to make money, but it's something that doesn't suit their nature. It's got nothing to do with Krishna consciousness, yet it takes up so much of the day. So they might get up in the morning, they'll try to chant a few rounds, and then they have to leave before the sun rises, come back after the sun rises. It just leaves a very small window of time for Krishna conscious activities, and therefore they also have less time for their relationships, and practically preaching good luck. So what we want to ideally do is find something that someone can do that they're really inspired by, because when you're inspired, the chances are that you'll be more successful in the money department, and also if you're successful at doing something, particularly if you do it as your own business, you can arrange your lifestyle in such a way that you can have more time for these types of things. And ideally, if you can connect your career with your actual service, like this, you can be involved in a Krishna conscious project as the way that you are earning your income according to your nature. That's ideal, because that means that you're surrounding yourself with devotees, not just in the weekend at the Sunday feast or at Janmashtami or something, but you can actually have association of devotees while you're working. Imagine that. How much nicer that would be when you'd be able to just first of all have a common ground with those devotees, and second of all, you can actually talk about Krishna conscious subjects openly and freely, and get inspired and inspire each other. So in this way, your work is helping your sadhana, because you're working with people and doing something inspiring related to Krishna consciousness, and those devotees will also inspire you, further in your sadhana. So this is the idea. And also, of course, with community, if devotees are working together, it helps to build community. So the more that we can align all of these things and bring it together, the better all of these things will be. It'll be a synergistic effect. It's not just like, one thing will get better, but if we can make everything in line so that the projects that we work on is helping us to make money, and that's also doing it with devotees, you can see that by pushing one thing, it's making the other things get better as well, rather than having a competition between things that, okay, I need to make money, so I've got to go and do something over here, and then I've got my project over here, and if I go over there, then I'm not going to earn as much money, and it's kind of like pulling. If I want to make more money, I have to associate less with the devotees. Again, this is something which is pulling against it. We want to align things, make things congruent. So this is the idea. So I'll just rub this out so that I can write some new stuff up there. Just find my little paper here. Rubber. So yeah, these were the big challenges that we found in our survey. Big one was sadhana, particularly japa, completing 16 rounds a day. The other part was about relationships and community, that there was a feeling of not being very welcome when you go to the temple, for example, and feeling like, I don't want to go there, they don't treat me very nicely, and when I look at the devotees, it's politics and that kind of thing. Then money, many devotees are struggling in this department, and they're doing work which doesn't satisfy them. And then finally, some devotees, they want to do some projects, but they're finding it difficult, or they are hoping that they can get some more help or some inspiration to do it. So these are the big things which devotees faced as their big challenges. And of course, regulative principles is also a challenge, particularly one of them. So that's just a little bit of a recap about the findings of our survey and the ideas of our Mayapur Success Formula Lab. So why do I call it the Mayapur Success Formula Lab? Well, the Mayapur Success Formula is a framework, Mayapur framework. I'll quickly just give you the overview of it. Each letter represents something that helps you to be successful in anything you do. So first of all, we talk about motivation. That's mainly what it stands for, and mindset. The gist of this is, why do I want to do this? Motivation is really important. Having a strong why, and also having a belief that it's possible. A is for association. Association is so important. I was listening to Dave Ramita Swami this morning, and he was giving a class, and he was talking about how there's two really key things that we need to do to stay strong in Krishna consciousness. One is attentive japa, and two, association. So these two ideas, I'll come back to these in a minute and show you how, through our program that we're launching, we hope to help in both of those areas. So mindset, association, finding people who are inspired to do the things that you want to do, and also to who believe in you, who can encourage you, and things like that. Y is for you. Unique, if you spell it wrong. Uniqueness. So this is talking about our individuality, as we mentioned before, doing something which matches our nature. A is for action. So this is where we learn to create plans and make our plans happen. There's certain problems that come in the way, like procrastination and perfectionism. So the A is that part of the process where we've got our idea, we've got our clarity, what we want to do according to our nature. Now we have to put it into practice. P is for personal development or personal mastery. And this is, like in the nectar of instruction, it talks about how we have to control our mind and our senses in order to be successful. So personal development here is just the need to always to keep developing ourselves, to keep learning, and to keep, as Stephen Covey would say, sharpening the saw. Don't just keep on doing things, but try to keep building our capacity as well. U is for ultimate motivation. And this is where we analyse what we're doing according to the modes of nature and see, is it, are we doing this out of pure love for Krishna? Or are we doing it in the mode of goodness, passion, or ignorance? And from whatever platform we are, we see how can we lift it up to the higher modes of nature, particularly the mode of goodness, and then from goodness, we can elevate ourselves to a higher level, spiritual platform. And then R is for reaching out, returning, and giving back. So once we've gone through all these different stages, it's not just about us, it's not just a selfish thing, but it's about how we can take what we've done and teach others what we've learned, or how we can use what we've done to benefit others. And that brings us right back to M, that a lot of times our motivation is in how we can help others. Particularly for many people, their children is one of the biggest motivations. And that's one way that we can go beyond ourselves and benefit others. So this is the Mayapur framework. So what about this lab business, right? What does this stand for? Well, as I was just hinting at before, what we need to do is we need to align our lives Okay, sorry, I've got my other camera going here and it just stopped recording. I don't know why it did that, but not to worry. So life alignment boot camp. Okay, so this is one element of the Mayapur of what I'm presenting, and this is like a course. This course will take place over 6 weeks, and it will consist of basically each week there'll be some new training. So 6 weeks there'll be basically, I'll just put training, like content, like each week there'll be a few videos that cover certain key points along with exercises to do to help those points so that you can put them into practice and get the benefit of it. So there'll be training, and then there'll also be questions and answers each week. So that could be like a webinar, or it might be a Facebook Live. This is the early stages of this program, so I'm working, developing it. And so according to what suits the people that join this program, we'll adapt it. Let me just see, I think I've got a list here somewhere of what else we've got in this program. That must be my other book. Just a second. I just don't want to miss anything. Oh, what I've got here, I'll do the trick. Right, so this is the gist of it. In addition, naturally there will be, when we talk about training, we're talking about things like activities, practical activities, and resources that go with it, like it could be worksheets or particular processes to go through to help take the ideas of this Life Alignment Bootcamp and actually align your life. Okay, so now another part of it is something which is not just a 6-week program. This is ongoing, and this is in one sense the thing that I'm the most excited about. I'll just see if I can start my camera again. Okay, we're back on rolling again. So this particular part is a membership site, basically a community. So I like to call it the Empower and Preach community. And the idea behind this, as we mentioned before about the importance of association, the key element of this, I'm thinking of committee, which ends in double E. But no, community doesn't, it ends in a Y. Alright, there we go. The idea of this community is to bring together devotees who have a common desire to increase their Krishna consciousness and to share it with others. In our society, these are our main ideas, and we might bump into a few devotees here and there that are inspired, but the general experience is that everyone's very busy, and it's quite rare that we get to have that close association. So taking advantage of a platform like Facebook allows us to connect with devotees. Now, Facebook itself is not the best. There may be groups on Facebook on a particular topic, but you generally find that the focus is not there. That people are going all over on different topics, and there's not like a really clear intention about what we're trying to achieve. And so with this Empower and Preach community, the idea is that I'll actively be involved in this community and encouraging the devotees to take up challenges and to engage and communicate with each other in a very focused way. Not like you would get in the regular Facebook situation. So in this community, we'll be doing regular challenges. And getting back to what Devaramita Swami's point was before about the two things, japa and association being the foundation for protecting us from Maya. So, for example, 1 month we'll do a japa challenge where we'll, for a whole month, the focus of that group will be around japa. So it could be about trying to complete our rounds by a certain time in the day, or it could be about our attentiveness, or it could even be related things like going to bed on time or getting up at a certain time. And then we can report back to each other in the group to say how it did. So each person can make their own challenge for themselves related to the same topic and share it with the group, and then report back throughout the week and throughout the month how their success is going. And in this way we're not only doing our sadhana, but we're also, even though we might be on our own, we might not even be married or something, we might be living in our own apartment miles from any devotees. But by participating in these challenges and being part of this group, we can have a sense that I'm not in this alone, I'm in this with other people. That we're in this together. So challenges is an important part of this membership. Now, in addition, the general idea is that for the first 6 weeks we've got this Life Alignment Bootcamp lab, and the main focus will be in this. And then as once someone has gone through this, the 6-week program, this community will allow devotees to continue the momentum as well as to focus on different things as we go on. So what I was thinking, and again, this is the beginning stages and it's very much open to the input of the members, but what I was thinking in terms of the challenges is to have a theme for each month. So we'll just put theme for the month. And I was thinking that the 4 main areas that we could perhaps go in a cycle, like every 4 weeks we do the same ones, would be what we mentioned before: money, relationships, sadhana. Maybe draw a little japamala here, if that looks like a japamala to you. So money, relationships, sadhana, and what was the other thing? And preaching. So I just wrote book, because books are the basis of our preaching, right? Bhagavad Gita. So, we could have a focus on each month, on each of these areas, so that we can keep a balance, over time, and have a holistic community where we don't just focus on one thing, but we look at a lot of different areas that are important for us. So these are like the monthly themes. And then what were some other things that I was going to share about here? So another really an idea which I think will be really valuable, especially as the community grows more and more. And I'd just like to say thank you for the people that are watching live. It's really great to see you there. If you want to ask any questions or make any comments, go ahead. That'll make it interesting. I've actually got my computer open so that if there are any questions or comments, I can answer. Well, but as I mentioned, it is kind of late at night, so I didn't expect that many people to be live, so no problem. So this is what I was thinking in terms of Rolodex. A chance for devotees to network together and connect. I'll give a simple example. Devotee wants to start a business, and therefore they're thinking that they need a website for that business. So then they might go in the group and say, hey, is there anybody there that designs websites? And someone go, yeah, I do that, cool. And then, oh, is there anyone who can design a logo? Yeah, I'm a graphic designer, I can do that, awesome. Any accountants out there that can help me to set things up properly? You know, so in this way, as devotees connect, we can draw upon the different strengths of each other, and also, I'll call this collegiality. Let me think of toothpaste for a second, but collegiality is the idea that not people who, like the Rolodex is kind of like finding people who can do something that you can't do. Collegiality is finding others who are doing the same kind of thing that you're doing and helping each other and sharing with each other so that you can all improve, do better, and inspire each other. Yeah, and also I think well, the challenges is, I'll just put account. These challenges help us to have someone to be accountable to, that somebody who can sort of send us a message and say, hey, how are you doing with that? You know, how's that challenge going? You know, if we're on our own and we're having difficulties, we might just give up. But if we know that we've declared it in front of others, you know, it gives a positive motivation. So accountability, collegiality, and then finally, I just wanted to talk about, so this Mayapur program is quite intense in terms of the training. It's designed to really give you a good focus and absorb yourself in helping you to think, what do you want from your life? How do you want it to be designed? And then the membership, the main value is the connection with the other devotees in that community and helping each other. But in addition, there'll also be some training. So the idea is that every week there'll be something. I'll just see where the easiest place, I'll put it up here. So the way I was thinking is basically to do it like this. 2 times a month, it'll be some content, which means it could be like a video that shows you how to set up a website or how to advertise on Facebook, or it could be a video about how to apply some strategy for developing habits that could help you with your, well, so many things, your sadhana or your personal life. It could be content about, for example, empathic listening or community development skills, you know, different things like that. So 2 times a month, something practical that you can actually use that will help you in your life, you know, in the big areas that we talked about. So what about the other 2 weeks? Well, 1 week will be just like a questions and answers, like a discussion. So devotees that have gone through this content or any other related topics, they can type in the questions in advance, and we can have a questions and answers, you know, where we can talk about it. And we can also invite guests or the members to come live on to the, you know, the webinar, and we can discuss the questions. So it'll be a bit more of an interactive process. This is content that we're sort of showing you something, and this is when we discuss it. And then finally, I'll just call it backstage. And the idea of this is that once a month, I'll present what's happening in the membership. I want this membership to be completely transparent so that the devotees know exactly how much money's coming in, how much money's going out, how the whole thing's being organised. Now, why would I do that? Well, one reason is that I want to be transparent. I want devotees to know what I'm doing so that they can see, and it puts me in the spotlight, that I have to use the money that I'm given through this program properly for the benefit of the members. And the other reason is that this kind of business, or this kind of this type of educational program where you have courses and membership sites, is something that other devotees might consider doing. I've worked already with Jai Srila Prabhu and Fomula Mataji, and together they wrote the book. I didn't have much to do with that part of it, but once the book was written, I helped them, to promote it. And within the first, how long has it been now? I guess it's just over a month. They're able to sell 200 copies of that book. So that's something that I can help with. If you feel like you've got something of value that you want to share that you could teach others, or even if you don't realise that you have something of value that you could teach others, I could help you if you at all have an interest in doing these types of things where you're helping others through teaching and facilitating. So the basic gist of it is that I'm doing this business as a way that I can fully align my life so that I'm able to make money doing what I love in a way that's completely aligned with Krishna consciousness. I'm serving devotees and I'm doing what I love. Doing these videos, planning educational programs, coming up with something like Mayapur. I love that kind of thing. Taking a whole lot of ideas and putting it into a framework that makes it easy for devotees to use and actually put into practice is really fun for me. So I'm doing what I love, and I'm designing this business in a way so that the basic idea is this: if I'm offering value to others, then it's natural that others would reciprocate by giving money in return. This is the basic system of reciprocation. And if devotees don't feel that what I'm offering has value, they won't pay for it. So it's up to me to show the value and to really serve with all of my strength, so that devotees get the maximum benefit. Because sometimes devotees think that maybe it's not right to do this as a main business where you're getting money and then you're doing this as a service. But the way I look at it is that, what's the alternative? That I should do something which doesn't suit my nature just to get money, and then try to do this as well. How will I be able to do it with my full strength if I'm being kind of pulled in different directions? The Bhagavad Gita is very clear. Ekeha Kurunandana. If you want to be successful in something, you need to be one-pointed, not many-branched in different directions. And so therefore, for me, I feel very strongly called by Krishna to do this type of service. Now we'll see what Krishna's arrangement is. However, I want to share the good, the bad, the ugly, and everything about this business, so that if other devotees also are even curious or interested in having a business that's structured in a similar way with courses and monthly membership programs and something like that, that they can find out all the details and see what it's been like for me. How much money did I spend on advertising and how much came back? What were some things that went wrong? What were some things that went right? So that if they're doing that business, they can learn from my successes and my mistakes and have a head start. So that's the final kind of content piece in the month. So each month there'll be four different sort of elements. 2 times it will be teaching something, 1 time questions and answers, and 1 time backstage. And amongst these things as well, often I'll be looking to do case studies. The backstage is kind of like my case study, so every month I'll do that. But it'll also be interesting to share others' stories. For example, Jai shared on Fomula, I can tell you some more details about the path that we went on. If you saw on the Successful Vaisnavas Facebook page, I recently did a little interview with them, and one of the points that we made was it wasn't smooth sailing. We tried this, didn't work. We tried that, a little bit. We kept on adapting until now we look back and we think, oh, we've actually achieved something. And that's the nature of business. It's not always straightforward. So the more you can learn from others and get support, and learn from others' experience, the better it is. All right, so this is the whole program, except for one thing I forgot to mention, is that I really want this program to be something that we develop together. I've got the inspiration to start this program, but I feel that I'm more of a facilitator than anything. That I really want to get the devotees together and help us to make decisions on things together and co-create this whole project. So in alignment with that, the idea is to keep aside 10% of all the income from this monthly program and to keep it as a separate fund, so that the members can decide, once it's accumulated to something worth spending, as members we can discuss what would be a great way to use that. Is there a devotee that's in the community that's really inspired by a certain project that needs some investment, some seed money to help it get going? Or is there a charity that we think that we're all really inspired and we'd like to donate to that? There could be many different things that we could do, but this is a fund which is a community fund that we can decide together how we want to use it. Right, so this is just giving the whole overview of the program, and just to summarize, devotees have shared with me 4 big challenges, and they're in the area of sadhana, relationships, money, and projects and personal inspiration ideas and preaching. So many times devotees are struggling with these things because they're trying to do everything separately. And therefore we have a program called the Mayapur Life Alignment Bootcamp, where we look at our whole life and see how can we align things so that we're doing what we're inspired to do, and we do it connected to Krishna. And then following on from this bootcamp, we have this membership site, which is a chance for association with devotees with a clear focus, so that it's helping devotees to make progress in a very tangible way. And also it provides resources for devotees in whatever it is that they want to do. So aside from the encouragement, the accountability, the inspiration that we get, by talking with like-minded devotees, it also gives us a chance to access the skills that other devotees have and work together. Excuse me. So this is the overview of the program, and as I mentioned, I want it to be something that we create together. This is a pilot program. You could call it a beta launch. So very soon, it might even be tomorrow, I'll be inviting a group of devotees to become charter members of this program. So I'll share more details about that when it's ready, and as I say, I hope it'll be within the next day or so. My commitment is that this is my offering to Srila Prabhupada this year, so it needs to be in the next few days. I've got a lot of the things in place, and maybe everything won't be fully in place by the time we start. And that's what a pilot program is. It's basically where you just get started with something that may not be fully polished, and therefore we offer it to those charter members for a discounted price, a price that is much less than what people will be paying in future. Because in future, this monthly membership will be developing a whole library of content and training that increases the value of that membership. There will be more members in that in the membership site, so there will be more resources to access as well. And so therefore it seems fair that the first members that join are the pioneers. They'll be helping to develop the program. They'll be helping to create the environment, to guide the direction that it goes in, and also they're showing a bit of courage to join the membership at the early days, when maybe the membership there'll be less people, but those are going to be the people who are the most enthusiastic and provide the foundation to build the whole thing. So therefore we want to reward those people for helping us to build this program, by offering a membership price which will be really encouraging and easy to manage. So the idea is that this membership will always be affordable, but we want to especially make it easy for people at the beginning. And it's the same with this boot camp as well. It's the first time that we're running it. So the membership and the boot camp, I've got an idea just for a small group of devotees to offer it for like a nominal charge, so that we can go through it and improve it, and then again launch it later on, at a higher price, but in a much more polished way. And of course, the people that do it the first time will get to go through it the second time as well, so they'll get extra benefit that way. So stay tuned about this membership program. I think that if you look at the way things are going in our society today, there's a great need for this life alignment program and this association that you can get through this membership site. So keep your eyes and ears open for the launch, for the when we open enrolment. In the Facebook Live, you'll see there's a link there, and if you click on that link, it'll take you to it'll put you on a subscription list, so that I can send you a Facebook Messenger notification as soon as the enrolment is ready. So all you need to do is click on that link. It'll take you to Facebook Messenger. I think you have to click Get Started or something, and then you'll be on the list. So as soon as we're ready to open the doors, you'll get to know. And the way that we will be doing it is that the ones that sign up straight away, like within the first day, it'll be a little bit cheaper as well. And then it'll continue. I think we might keep the enrolment open for maybe 3 or 4 days after that, because I want to get the kind of marketing out of the way, get the group of members into the program, so then I can focus on just serving the members. So it won't be open for very long, and if you're one of the first people to sign up, you'll get it for a reduced price. So I hope that's inspiring for you guys. It's certainly inspiring for me. I've spent literally at least 5, almost 7 years developing these ideas, and I've almost launched it a few times, but I really feel that Krishna's put me in a situation where he's telling me, go for it. And now that it's coming up to Janmashtami and Prabhupada's Vyasa Puja, this is my offering. And I hope that you'll join me in this course and this membership program, and help us develop it to not only benefit yourself, but also to develop it for the benefit of our whole society in this generation and the next. So I'll sign up from here. Thank you for your time, and stay tuned. Make sure you get on the notification list so that you can know as soon as we open the program. Thank you very much. Make your life successful. Hare Krishna.